Hi, everybody, and welcome back to the Body Wisdom with Dr. Michele podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Michele, and we are in season 3, and we are talking about healthy habits. Today, I want to talk to you about one of the very important habits in Ayurveda, and that is called self-massage. There are a couple different ways to do it. You can do it with oil, which is called abhyanga, or you can do it with no oil, which would be dry brushing. So first we're going to talk about self-massage with oil. So what are some of the reasons why we want to do it? We really want to stimulate our blood flow, stimulate the flow of lymph, and it's really important to do it in a certain way. So I'm going to give you some instructions on how to do that. And at the end of this podcast, I'm also going to give you some instructions on how to make your own oil. So that is something that a lot of people want to do. Okay, so let's just talk about some of the benefits of self-massage. So when you use special oil and you massage yourself, it's almost like a meditation. It's very calming. It nourishes your mind and your body. It rejuvenates the body, including the skin, especially the skin, and especially right now during the Vata season, which is the fall. At least that's when I'm recording this. It's dry, the air is dry, and there's a lot of wind, and it dries out some people's skin. And so if you notice your hands are dry and cracked, you need some more nourishment into your skin, and this is one of the ways you can do that. Self-massage with oil also increases longevity. It delays aging. So people that are getting older and worried about aging and wrinkles and fine lines and looking to buy all of these expensive anti-aging creams, you really don't even need that when you're doing this. Use oils, and when you put anything on your skin, it's believed in Ayurveda that you don't put anything on your skin that you wouldn't eat. So we're going to use high-grade oils that are good enough to use in our cooking. We're going to use that on our skin. Okay? It also relieves fatigue. It builds stamina. It promotes deeper sleep because it relaxes you. It enhances your complexion, improves the luster and shine of your skin. It enhances circulation and detoxification. It loosens ama into the circulation. And ama, for those of you that don't know, it's an Ayurvedic Sanskrit word for toxins. So it releases all that toxins. It releases stress. It awakens the senses. It recovers muscle fatigue. So if your muscles are sore, you've been working out a lot, you've been doing a lot of things, a lot of walking, running, exercising, your muscles are sore, this is a really great thing to do for yourself. Self-care is very important, and it's one of the things that we stress a lot in Ayurveda. It helps with digestion, it helps with blood pressure, it helps with organ communication. It helps your attitude shift from negativity into positivity. Most importantly, it teaches self-love and self-care. Okay, so let that all sink in, and let's move on to special parts of the body. Some of the places that we want to rub oil, I already mentioned the hands. We're also going to talk about the scalp, the ears, and the feet. Okay, so the benefits of rubbing oil into your scalp. It can help thicken and beautify your hair. It nourishes the sense organs on your scalp, and it decreases the fine lines around the edges. It decreases facial wrinkles. Benefits of oiling your ears. It decreases stiffness in your neck. It releases tension in your jaw. It helps your hearing, and it protects your hearing. It prevents infection due to underlying dryness. benefits of oil massaging your feet before bed. This is a very important one. As a lot of you know, I'm a foot doctor, so this one is very important to me and my patients. Releases tension. Okay, you hear that? Massaging your feet before bed releases tension. It stimulates detoxification. It helps make your feet flexible. It helps in deep sleep. And it creates a sense of ease and relaxation before bed. So that's a lot of information to take in. Those are a lot of benefits, and there really aren't any drawbacks to it other than getting oil on your towel. Like if you have really fancy towels, you probably don't want to use them right after you've done your oil massage. And some people have complained about clogging their drains. So if you're using too much oil or oils that are not very high quality, things like that can happen. So you want to make sure you're using good oil. You want to make sure you are not using your fancy towels to clean up with after. But in terms of the body, there really are no drawbacks to doing a self-massage. And self-massage does not have to take that much time. If you only have a minute or two before bed, just do your feet, okay? It's going to help the most with sleep. If you have 5 minutes, you can do your whole body. It doesn't even have to take 5 minutes, but let's just say you're new at it, you're not sure how to do it. So you want to give yourself 5 minutes and get yourself ready for bed. It could be one of the things that you add into your nighttime routine. Some people like to do it in the morning. It just depends on what feels good for you. But for most people that need relaxation and need help with sleep, doing it right before bed is the best time to do it. So here are some do's and don'ts. And we already talked about some of these, but I just want to mention them again. Start with the do's. Do warm your oil for a special treat. So if it's the winter or the fall and you're feeling chilly, you're feeling cold, you can warm up your oil just a little bit before doing your massage. Another do, use the same spot for your oil massage. So kind of like building up a bedtime routine. If you're doing this every night before bed, you want to do it in the same place every night. So if you're going to do it in your bathroom, sitting on the edge of your tub, that's where you want to do it every night. If you're going to do it sitting on the edge of your bed, in your favorite chair, wherever you're going to do it, standing in your bathroom, standing in your bedroom, you want to do it in the same spot because it becomes a routine, it becomes a habit, and healthy habits is what we're looking for. Okay, another do. Take time at least once a week for a good massage session. So like I was mentioning before, if you only have a minute or two each night, just do your feet. But at least once a week, you want to give yourself a good amount of time, let's say 10 minutes when, you're having your bath time or you're getting ready for bed and no one's going to bother you, the kids are asleep and you have your own time for self-care. Give yourself a good amount of time to do a nice, slow, relaxing massage over the whole body. Okay, another do, make it a family affair. Start teaching your kids to do this when they're little, and they can start developing these habits early in life, and it's going to help them so much. And the last do is start with your feet. Start with your feet. Okay, here are the don'ts. I already mentioned some of them. Don't use your favorite towels afterwards. You don't want to ruin your good towels. Don't do it in a cold place. You don't want to stand there cold, feeling all cold and starting to wonder, why am I doing this? It's not even. Another don't use rancid oil. So you want to make sure your oil is fresh. You want to smell it. Don't keep it in a place where you warmed it up and now it's hot and you leave it sitting there because it's going to go bad. So just want to warm up a little bit at a time that you're going to use because you want to keep your good oil fresh. Okay, don't rush through it. Don't say, oh, I just have 30 seconds. I'm going to try to do my whole body, Make it nice and slow and relaxing. Don't clog your drains. We talked about that one already. Don't use a ton of oil. It doesn't take a lot of oil to do this. And don't give up. So don't give up is in there because some people, when they first hear about doing a self-massage, they don't really like the idea of it. Some people have body image issues, and the thought of rubbing their own body bothers them. So if that is speaking to you, what you want to do is just start with, like we were talking about before, just start with your feet. Just give yourself a nice, good foot rub with some good oil. Um, do it nice and slow. Rub the areas that have the most tension or that are sore. Rub them a little extra. You want to get all of the foot. You want to do it nice and slow. You want it to relax you. And just do that. You don't have to do your whole body if the thought of that is not comforting to you. But if that's not you, then you do want to try to do the whole body. And don't give up if you think it's taking too long or you think you're not doing it right. Don't give up. You will be able to do it. Okay, so if we want to talk about technique, we want to always go from the extremities towards the center of our body, towards our intestines. So you want to do circular motions around your head and around your face. You want to do long motions on your limbs and your neck, so up and down or long, straight motions with your hand. And you're going to be going from the tips of your fingers towards your shoulders. You're going to be going from the top of your foot, up your leg, up your thigh. When you get to your belly, you want to go in a circular motion, going in the same direction that your digestion would be. So let's say you start let's say your hand is right over your pelvic area, below your belly button. You want to go to the right, and then up, and then across, going left, and then down. So the same way that your digestion goes, you want to do a circular motion like that towards your belly button, okay? So when you're doing those long strokes on your limbs, do it nice and slow. Think about your muscles and your circulation and your lymph, and that you're helping all of that go back up, and you're going to get the most benefits from that. Okay, before we move on to dry brushing, I just want to talk about the oils really quickly, because what I'm going to give you at the end of this episode is a free information sheet on how to make your own oil. But in general, if you know your dosha, if you know your vata, pitta, or kapha, there's some recommendations on which oils are going to be best for each one of you. If you don't know your dosha, you can go online and just type in to the Google dosha quiz, and you'll find some different dosha quizzes that come up. You might find one from the Chopra Center, one from Banyan Botanicals. There's a whole bunch of them out there. Just find one. You can take the quiz, and it'll ask you some questions about your body type and about things you think about, and it will give you a generalization on which type you're leaning more towards. Because we all have a little bit of vata, a little bit of pitta, and a little bit of kapha in us. It's just which one do you have more of and which one is out of balance. If you're more, we talked about this on another episode, but if you're more thin and frail and dry skin, underweight, you're going to lean more towards vata. If you're an athlete, you're very muscular, you love running long distances, and you're hot, like your skin is hot or you get heated really quickly with your temperament, those are characteristics of someone that has more pitta in them. And then for someone that has more kapha in them, they're going to be more overweight. Maybe they don't like to exercise, but they're also the most easygoing. And they're very like happy the way things are. Like they don't really, worry that much about losing weight or about getting up early to go running. They're just kind of complacent and happy the way they are. But when they're out of balance, they can also get very sad and very feel like a little bit isolated and depressed. So those are very short descriptions. If you know that you fall into one of those, like right off the bat, you can go with that for now. But if you're not sure, you're like, well, I'm like this, but I'm also like that, then it would be a good idea to take one of those dosha quizzes and just see, like, are you 75% of this and 25% of that, or are you 50-50? Some people are what they call tridoshic, where they're equal parts of all three. So see which one that you are, or which one that you think you fall into. And there are some recommendations for some oils based off of that. So for someone that is vata, so they're going to feel more cold. Like there's someone that's always complaining like it's cold no matter what. Even though everyone else in the room feels warm, they're complaining, I'm cold. You want to use an oil that's more of a warming oil. So you want to use something like a sesame oil. For someone that's a pitta who always feels hot, you want to use something that's cooling to their skin, like a coconut oil. And for kapha, because they're not really complaining about being hot or cold, you can use, depending on the season, you can use sesame oil, corn oil, or almond oil. I personally don't like using corn oil, but I would rather use almond oil for a kapha. But you can go by the season for a kapha. So let's say that it's the summertime, and so everyone's kind of hot. Then I wouldn't use sesame during the summertime. I would use the almond oil. And if it's winter where everyone's cold, then I would use a sesame oil with them because that's the warming oil. Okay, so those are just generalizations. Like I said, you don't have to go by that. You can use whatever oil you want. But if you know your dosha and you want to try experimenting with these, those would be some recommendations. Now, that's your base oil, what I just talked about. And like I said, I have all this written out for you in a nice little chart, so I'm going to give that to you at the end of this. So don't worry about writing this down or trying to memorize it. But that's your base oil. So let's say you have a little cup of that, and now what we're going to do is we're going to add some essential oils to that base oil to make it even better. So if you're doing your self-massage at night because you want to have it for relaxation, you can add something like a couple drops of lavender oil to your base oil. That's going to give you that nice, relaxing lavender scent. And everyone, well, not everyone, but a lot of people know that lavender essential oil helps with sleep. You know, if there's something else that you're working on, like maybe you're working on muscle soreness, you might want to add some eucalyptus or some something that's more minty. If you want to do this in the morning, maybe you want to add something that's very refreshing and stimulating, like one of the citrus oils. So there's different types of essential oils that you can use for your physical body, and there's also some for your mind that can help with relaxation and different things like that. So I'm going to give you that chart at the end of this episode. And the last thing I want to say before I get to the end is just really quickly about dry brushing. So dry brushing would be the same technique, except you're not using any oil. A lot of people do the oil massage at night and the dry brushing with Garshana gloves in the morning. Garshana gloves are these special silk gloves that are a little bit rough to the touch. They're not like silky smooth. They're like a little bit abrasive, but not really. There's special gloves that you can buy. You don't have to use them. You can just use your bare hands, or you can use a dry brush, not a hair brush, but a special brush for your skin, or you can just use your hands. There's like 3 different ways you can do it: the gloves, the brush, or your hand. And the important part is you're not using oil, so it's dry. And what it does is really stimulate you and wake you up. So a lot of people like to do this in the morning because first thing in the morning when they get up, before they do their shower and before they exercise, they get their circulation and their mind and everything stimulated by doing this technique without the oil. So it's really stimulating for your circulation, and it's not messy, and it's very great for your lymph. And for kaphas, it's better to do the dry brushing than it is to do the oil massage, because one of the qualities of kapha that I didn't mention before was that their skin is sometimes moist already or oily. Like, do you know anyone that has, like, their hands are always sweaty, or kind of like you go to shake their hand or hold their hand, their hand's always kind of wet? I know some people like that, and if you ask them, "Oh, are you hot?" because it feels like your hand is sweaty, they're like, "No, my hands are just always like this." Then they might have a little bit more kapha in them. So for kaphas, dry brushing is actually a little bit better than the oil massage. Okay, so that's pretty much everything that I wanted to share in this episode about self-massage. And if you want that chart on how to make your own oil, and it gives you all the different essential oils that you can add, and how to make it, how to do the actual massage. There will be instructions within on how to do this, the different techniques on the different parts of your body. Just go to my website, drmichele.com/massage, and you can find that right there. Okay, so that's all I have for you today, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.